Okay, here we go. This is the rest of that quiz. This should be the 33rd day of the second video, and this is your class vocabulary quiz. I'll tell you what you've got to do, and then I've got a little bit more to say to you. So, put a wavy line underneath your last answer. You should be able to keep this all on one piece of paper, it seems to me. Put a wavy line across. This is going to be really a second quiz. That's the way I'd grade it. And now, write these words across the page with commas in between. These are the words that I'm going to expect you to use. You had 12, I'm only going to give you 9. Here they are. Hitherto. Hitherto, comma. Distraught, comma. Gawking, comma. Bourgeois. Have fun spelling that. Comma. Skulks, comma. Feebly, comma. Divan, comma. Zenith, comma. And javelin. Hitherto, distraught, gawking, bourgeois, skulks, feebly, divan, zenith, and javelin. All right, after the last one, make that comma into a semicolon, and now I'd like you to write down allusion, because part of your your quiz is that in one of the sentences that you write, you're going to have an allusion. And I want the allusion to be to some television show. It can be to something else if you want, but sometimes it's harder to do an allusion if it's just out of the blue. So I'll be more specific. Allude to some television show, or movie if you want. And when you, in your sentence, when you include the allusion, I want you in the margin to put A-L-L-U in the margin to indicate that there you know you have an allusion in here. It wasn't by accident. You do not have to put the part of speech over the words. You may change the words, the endings of the words, as long as it's still the same root word. Like gawking could become gawks or gawked. Feebly could become feeble. Javelins, you could make that plural if you want. You may do that. Underline the words in the sentences so I can spot them right away. You don't have to indicate the stress pattern, but you have to have enough in the sentence to convince me that you know what the word means. Don't give me a definition. I don't want you to say a javelin is a... No. Tell me that somebody used a javelin. All right, then put a semicolon and then put 6 equals plus 1. You've got 9 words. If you can do that job in 6 sentences or less, I'll make that worth an extra point. You know, kids will do almost anything for extra points. And later on I'll give more extra points for that kind of a thing. It's more fun. It's also way easier on the teacher to do the correcting and much more interesting if the kids write interesting sentences, which they're almost forced to do if they take these words and put them together. I don't reward anybody a whole lot for putting all 9 words into one sentence, because almost always you just get a horrible sentence. So that won't... But if you can get it in 6 sentences or less, I'll give you an extra point if I were going to grade this. A lot of what I'm doing here is I'm trying to show you how I go about giving these quizzes. All right, and I guess the one other thing I'll say about this is if you want to, if any of you out there that are watching this, there aren't very many that are watching this every day, but if you want to show me your work, send it to me as a comment. Just send the sentence. I'd love to just get that contact. So think about that. All right, finally, you can go back to the quiz when I'm done here. I haven't used any videos or mentioned videos this week, I don't think. But I want to mention this one. This is to get ready for next week. It's called The Story of English. It is Robert McNeil did this, and I don't see the year here. 86. I think this was done in 1986. Anyway, it is fabulous. The thing is 9 episodes long. Each episode is an hour long. I will draw from it, or at least I'll talk about it some next week, I think. But if you're interested, you can find it on topdocumentaries.com. I went online to find it. It's readily available. It shouldn't be hard to watch. And I would recommend you watch the first episode. I think you'll like it. This was an award-winning documentary at the time. But one other thing I want to say before I leave, I'm going to draw more from the second next week than the first one. But one other thing I want to say was I was I was at first so excited when this came out in 1986 because I thought, finally, English teachers all over the world are going to see this and they're going to begin to have a linguistic approach toward English. It didn't seem like it worked, not in my world. It didn't make much of a stir, so I was really disappointed. I thought, all this stuff that English teachers don't typically know and they're not taught, here it is, it's in here. It's going to change the teaching of English worldwide. I don't think it did, which is sad. And I could say in general, too, I don't know if you remember Doc Blanchard, I mentioned him, that he's the one who taught me the class vocabulary business, the one who said etymology is the frosting on the vocabulary cake. I think it was Doc Blanchard that taught me the phrase intellectual curiosity. He would sometimes say to us, don't you have some intellectual curiosity? Or what's wrong with your intellectual curiosity? I think I learned that from him, that phrase. But anyway, I have been disappointed through my professional career at different times at the lack of intellectual curiosity that some of my fellow teachers have had. And really what's driving you, if you're watching this class, putting up with the bad sound and all this, and I told you so far I don't know how you can get credit for it yet. Why would you watch it? Well, if you want to learn. Intellectual curiosity. Here is a great feast for somebody with intellectual curiosity about language. And there'll be others as we go. All right, well, anyway, if you want to, there's my recommendation over the weekend. If you've got a rainy weekend like we do here, watch it and keep going. If you want, it's great. All right, back to your quiz. Good luck. I'll see you on Monday, and we'll go on to other stuff. I don't know if I'll ever see any of your work or not, but that's the way I would quiz class vocabulary.